Hi, I'm Josanne Wright Callender, the author of the Happy Little Garbage Truck picture book education system. And today, we're talking about developing a powerful mindset in our children. And part of that has been looking at the different sensory processing skills and systems that are the hidden sensory processing systems. We know about the five senses: taste, smell, touch, hearing, touching. I think I've got sight, the most important one to me right now, looking at my notes. But in looking at interoception, proprioception, and vestibular sensory systems, they're usually thought of as the hidden system because they're more internal. So, in looking at each of these, we're trying to build a powerful mindset in our children. And interoception, in particular, I found is one of the most critical systems that uh, we should take a look at when we're talking about the behaviors of a child. And so, and looking a little bit deeper into this, I did a little more research. And I discovered that the brain, yesterday we mentioned that the brain is continually making sense of the world using our five senses, constructing an internal model of what the world looks like based on what our body is seeing. And I had a little picture here of the body is actually in our mind all the time because through the process of allostasis, it's trying to protect our bodies. And I mentioned in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the basic one is keeping ourselves safe. And it's like, the priority skills are those that keep the body safe. So, in looking at allostasis, um, it also helps navigate our body to keep us from things that can be dangerous. But how does it actually pinpoint or prioritize which things are important to pay attention to and which things are not? So that led me to a bit of research that showed me that given the myriad of things that our senses are picking up from moment to moment, the interoception sense uses one part of the brain that prioritizes, called the salience network. And it's like, what is the one salient point we've always heard in our lectures that you want to keep, in your mind? It's like the most important part. So that's where they got the word salience from. The salience network is actually a real part of the brain. And it appears that it stimulates our motivation. It preps our brain for action. It gives us the need to endure and act. And it singles out the stimuli that needs our priority attention. But interestingly enough, as I researched the salience network, I came across this term, the default mode network. And at first, it kind of skimmed by that as I was reading the article that I will include in the description box below, because I wasn't sure if that was like the term of a part of the brain or it was just like a way of describing it. Well, it was both. There, the salience network is tightly coupled with the brain's default mode network. And the default mode network is active when a person is daydreaming. And it's actually the inner or introspective part of our mind that's logging the past experiences to help us predict what those signals mean. So here's an example that this one article gave, that say that you're driving along in a car and you're in your default mode, just thinking about, what happened at that last meeting or what are you going to do for lunch, whatever. So it's just like our daydreaming part. But then we hear an alarm and an ambulance is somewhere around us. At that point, the salience network kicks in and it takes over. And it determines whether the ambulance is either right behind us or several blocks away to determine what our next action should be. So it also decides that we should drop that internal focus, the daydreaming, and take action, pay attention to what's going on around us. So both help us to determine which sense data is important in a specific situation. If it's something that's not really vitally important for us to pay attention to, it goes back into the default mode. If it is, then it tells us what action, it gets us our adrenaline going to tell us what action to take. So we need both in order to help us navigate and keep allostasis in the body, to keep our bodies safe. So tomorrow we're going to take another look at a little bit more research and in particular allostasis. So until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.